Today, we're taking a look at the Hamilton Khaki Field 42mm automatic. This watch is quite a special one for a number of reasons. One, my first automatic watch, so I definitely did months of research before taking the plunge. Second, it was my 5th year marriage anniversary watch, so I definitely wanted to get something I felt that was timeless and something I felt I would be happy to have for a lifetime. I gave myself a checklist of items I wanted out of my first dream automatic watch, which included it had to be automatic, legible and clean, had some type of heritage, had reasonable value, and may or may not have an open case back. The Khaki Field is an automatic. It was my first look into the world of automatic watches. I really did not know much about the intricacies of power reserve, beats per hour, and mechanisms, and it was an eye-opener to all the different variations of mechanisms, to include those that do in-house movements, which are those that create their in-house movements and do not outsource it from other manufacturers. So if you watch F1, Mercedes creates their own engines and uses it on their own cars, while say a team like McLaren, they make their own car from the chassis to the exterior aerodynamics, but they actually source their engine from Mercedes. In the case of Hamilton, they work with movement specialist ETA to develop a particular movement which has a power reserve of up to 80 hours. These are found in their H30, H40, and the movement found in this Khaki Field 42mm, the H10 movement. This movement is beautifully displayed through its sapphire protected open case back. It's decorated with 25 joules as indicated on its rotor plate. So that checks two things, automatic and an open case back. Pretty nice. It wears comfortably on the wrist with a thickness of only 11mm. So comfortable, in fact. I forget I'm wearing it sometimes when I step in the shower, but that's not too much of an issue with its 100 meters of water resistance. Next, I wanted a clean and classic legible dial with a little pop of the theatrics. The theatrics portion is contained on its red tip second hand, which is a nice contrast to the black dial and white colored numerals. There's nothing too extravagant about its appearance. The surrounding case is nicely brushed, with a polished bezel surrounding the dial. A seconds track with 5th indices lays the pavement for the sweeping red second hand, which is counterbalanced by a little lollipop. In the right lighting, you can notice a slight contrast to the dial where the Arabic numerals are placed, which appears to almost look like a vinyl record. A date window takes the place of the 3 o'clock position, which breaks the symmetry of the dial by pushing the 1500 marker of the 24-hour military time numerals inward. Yes, another pop of the theatrics, and most definitely a deal breaker for those with obsessive compulsive disorder, and for those who need their salt and pepper shakers lined up perfectly on the dinner table. Not symmetrical. Speaking of diner table, the area where the 24-hour military time lies on also sits on what appears to be a plate just inside of the vinyl record etchings. No novels written on this dial, just the words Khaki Automatic above the 6-hour numeral and the brand Hamilton just below the 12-hour numeral. Rotating from the center are the beautiful syringe minute and hour hands, which are also loomed. This is not a watch I go to bed with, so I don't care for the loom. Another thing I don't care for is the original leather strap, which is why I have it on a more softer, supple Venezia mud leather from Colorado. For those with more patience, you can break in your authentic Hamilton strap by actually wearing it. Now onto the things sticking out from the case. The crown is knurled and easy to grasp and handle, with the letter H signed onto it. The lugs sticking out are 22mm in width, and are one of the watch's sticking points. Laying flat on the wrist, its 52mm lug-to-lug distance is thanks to its more flattened lugs, which can be an issue for those with smaller wrists. I would say I'm just slightly borderline, but I guess I shouldn't really care what you think about how it looks on my wrist, and neither should you. If you like it, buy it. And speaking of buy, for an automatic watch with 80 hours of power reserve slapped in a sapphire sandwich of American military history, is definitely one of the most or more value automatic watches to purchase, if not the definitive automatic field watch to purchase in the sub 1000, even sub 500 price point, depending on where you send your credit card info to. Which is why, for so many reasons, shelling out a couple $100 hairs wasn't too painful. In fact, it was quite delightful. As alluded to earlier, this is a watch that sits rich in American history. Originally in 1892, Hamilton designed pocket watches out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which became known and renowned for its quality and accuracy. In 1912, its timekeeping ability helped prevent train accidents and became titled as the watch of railroad accuracy. In 1914, the company transitioned from its pocket watches to wristwatches to supply the US Armed Forces. Not just a force to be reckoned with on the field of battle, in 1914, the company took to the skies and served as the timekeeper for the first US airmail service between Washington, D.C. and New York City. It seems the Big Apple wasn't big enough for the company. It also timed the first North Pole flight at 15 hours and 57 minutes in 1926. It was also the New York Yankees World Series celebration watch in 1928. Sorry, Red Sox fans. In 1930, it was the official watch of 4 American Airlines. Its movie debut began in 1932 with the Shanghai Express. With its taste for the Hollywood limelight, it also donned the wrist of Elvis in 1961, was found in Kubrick's Space Odyssey in 1968, and later on down the line was found in Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Independence Day, Interstellar, The Matrix, and so on. And something I didn't know until now, Hamilton also produced the first digital electronic watch, the Pulsar. What are my impressions? Combine its expansive history, simplistic, reliable function, and its reasonably valued price. It just might be the perfect watch. Thanks for watching.